All right, Matt Goldstein, Chief Investment Officer here at Exit Wealth. So, Matt, that just ride the Mag 7 or the S&P 500 triple Qs and don't worry about it. Those days are clearly coming to a close. I mean, look at how Microsoft's been beaten up and NVIDIA hasn't gone anywhere for 6 months. We're not suggesting you get out of those positions, but Matt, we've been doing it for several months now. We're looking at other places and we urge other folks to do that. And here's what I mean, Matt. It's looking like value and maybe industrials are finally having their day.
I think you're seeing, nothing lasts forever. All good things must come to an end. The Mag 7 large cap US has had an amazing 15-year run, one of the best 15-year runs ever. We are not saying that means it's going straight down, but things that have massively underperformed during that period are starting to show signs of life, whether that's international, whether that's value, whether that's hard assets, whether that's industrials. You are starting to see things reprice in many different ways. I could, at the most basic level, we are now going from asset light companies, which means they can grow without having to invest a lot of CapEx, being compromised because AI is this disruption that not everyone knows the clear answer. But at the end of the day, especially like in software, the future cash flows 5 to 10 years out are much more unpredictable. And when that happens, you have to re-rate the valuation of those cash flows. So that's one of the things that's going on. And a lot of people do not have exposure to any of these things that have been definitely perking up the last 3 to 6 months.
This is a fascinating time because let's look at all the noise, whether you want to talk about Iran, you want to talk about Venezuela, tariffs on, tariffs off, tariffs on, Supreme Court's involved, Ukraine still, and Russia. I mean, it's just one bit of noise after another, including the AI disruption you just mentioned. And yet this market has shown to be so resilient, Matt. Does that keep you as an optimist, or would you say you're sort of in the middle, tempered with your optimism? In other words, is your base case that we end the year higher from here, flat, or lower?
I would definitely say, flat to higher. I do think just like every calendar year, the average drawdown is approximately 10%. Midterms, it's about 15. So it would be perfectly normal to have a good old-fashioned 10% correction. But at the end of the day, I think if you're well diversified, you're going to be okay. But a lot of people don't have small cap. A lot of people don't have industrials. A lot of people don't have any gold. A lot of people don't have international. And if you're just been NASDAQ 100 is all I need to do because it's made 16% a year for 15 years, that most likely will probably not perform as well as it has.
Active management right now is paramount. We've had great success with Latin America. We've been able to pick up some names in Latin America that have performed beautifully. Metals, as Matt has mentioned, we've been on that for a long time. Matt, to finish up on crypto, being in crypto has been like being a hockey player's teeth lately. I mean, since late summer, Solana was at 200, then it hit 70 or something. So, Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, we love them still. But if you're going to be in the crypto game, you got to have the stomach for this kind of volatility. So I sort of think, Matt, that we've troughed, or at least I'm certainly optimistic that there's been some funny things going on behind the scenes that you and I have talked about offline, and maybe give us a little insight.
First of all, crypto is always going to be very volatile. And, after a 50% drawdown in Bitcoin in a very short amount of time, 70% drawdown in Solana, now is not the time to be saying it's going to crash. Guess what? It's already crashed. But I've seen this before. And when you have things kind of washing out, this is not the time to think it's going to go down another 50%. At the end of the day, we have a bill that was passed by the House. It needs to be passed by the Senate called the Clarity Act. It's looking good that that's going to pass the next couple months. When that happens, you're going to get a lot more institutional adoption and confidence in moving forward with this. So I think the path from here is more likely up than down more. I'm not saying it's the bottom, but we're a lot closer to the bottom if we already haven't had it. And just going back to the AI, and not to get too technical, but just if you guys have heard of AI agents and you're thinking like, what does this mean? Like, think of an AI agent as a person or an entity that buys and sells things. Well, guess what? AI agents cannot use bank accounts. They cannot use credit cards. They're going to use a blockchain. Everything's going to be tokenized, which Larry Fink and many other people have said. And so when you think about like, could a billion people use crypto? Yeah, but that's going to be a while. But guess what? There could be a billion agents in 6 months because there's no supply. You can create them infinitely. So imagine if
Right.
a billion agents are doing transactions, they're going to use blockchain, which is Solana and Ethereum and stablecoins. So that's one of the things that I think long term is looking very positive.
There it is. Let's end right there. Very positive. I love the mindset. Glass half full. That's Matt Goldstein. I'm Justin Farmer. We're Exit Wealth. See you soon.